So somewhere in a land far, far away in like 3 alternate universes, I got voted by the people to be Mr. Ubbs' publicist. So that's what's happening. Um, Normally I would do all the speaking for him, but for 1 hour tonight, for this hour, he's gonna be speaking for himself. But ain't no more for the rest of the week until like next Tuesday maybe, and then he can speak. But anyway, welcome to Cubfidential. I'm your producer, Denzel Snipes. We've got a pretty loaded show for you. We're gonna be doing a little mix of Cubs coverage as well as a playoff preview, and we have some special news, a special a little something that finally went down. We won't have any more cut-ins. Do you hear that, networks? It's over with. He did it. Stop cutting into college football games. I don't want to see this man at bat no more unless I'm watching an actual Yankees game, okay? But I digress. Let's go ahead and get our QB1 in here, or starting pitcher, should I say. He is the Rocky Mountain Rebel, Jordan Long.
Hey, Mr. Ubbs publicist. I mean, it very interesting night tonight. We'll get into that. But, of course, the Cubs are actually winning ball games. I wish they would have done that earlier in the year. But let's first get on our first guest, Miss Jennifer Matthews-Lewis, as we're going to talk about the Phillies versus Cubs series. Maybe.
Are you trying to kick me off, Jordan Long?
No. No, I'm not. So let's
Are you trying to get rid of me for that special guest we have tonight? And I'm not trying to talk about the pundit's pundit who thinks he's better than me when we all know I'm better looking and better than him.
I actually have to agree with that, to be honest. I mean, yeah, the pundit's pundit is smarter, but honestly,
he's smarter than me? Jordan,
not smart.
Don't make me fly to Colorado.
I never said he was smarter. He's smart. But
Jacob's loving this, by the way.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Love you, Jacob.
Let's get into the Cubs Philly series, because you and I have already discussed about the Aaron Judge thing on my show, where we honestly don't think he should, or we think he should be the home run king, but you also have to have the steroid era too.
Well, yeah, but steroids were technically banned in 91. However,
True.
Shame on the MLB for not actually testing until 2003. So, and this is a topic I'm proposing we bring up on 3 Chicks and Pie, Chicks and Salsa next week too. Because quite frankly, the Marises want him to be the home run king because he's done it cleanly. He's done it without aid. And therefore, I know, right? Jay's on my side. I'm gonna pay for Jay to come in and dog sit for me while I fly to Colorado. And
I mean, the tape is gonna say I said that he was smarter, but what I meant was he's smart. I never said he was smarter than you. Just trying to back up my explanation there.
But yeah, you and I agree that Bonds was good. Bonds didn't need to do steroids.
No.
He would have done it without the roids, I do firmly believe, but the steroids tainted him.
I completely agree. Of course, we'll get our special guest as well as the pundit's opinion on that. But let's go into this Phillies Cubs series. You look at it, and I mean, it was a pretty close series throughout. I mean, let's. I mean, you look at it. We won 2-1 on the first game.
Yep. And you would have been proud because the Phillies actually left more players on base. They left 4. We left 3.
Which is good.
So, yeah. And then the top performers were Stroman and Gomes. And we don't talk about the Phillies' one top performer because why would we? This is a Cubs show. So, and they did a pretty solid job there. Stroman had 4 hits, 1 ER. 6 outs, and Gomes had 2 bases and 1 RBI. So, not bad.
The one thing I do look at, and I've talked to this with JB, is I talk about, runners left on base. We were 1 for 3 in scoring position. That's not bad compared to what we've been. So I'll take that. I mean, this is a Phillies team that's going to the playoffs. So this is actually going to give us momentum for next year.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you look at the second game, 4-2. I mean, a little bit tighter, but you know what? We came out with the victory there. I mean, I see that the 5th inning was our big inning with 4 runs. I'll take that, especially since you go down 1-0. It just seems like the Cubs, as of late, and I wish they would have done this earlier in the season, they're actually getting the timely hits. I don't know what's up with that, but we're finally doing it.
And after we tackle the 3rd game, I want to give you a talking point my husband made the other day too. So I got to give him props for that. But it's actually interesting insight. And, I'm not ashamed to say he knows baseball a lot better than I. So, I mean, he played it the vast majority of his life, so he should. But yeah, in that game, honestly, the Phillies were kind of slacking a lot. Even though only Morel was the only top performer from the Cubs during that game. But honestly, they left 12 players on base to our 4.
You can't do that, especially with the team that's going into the postseason. They clinched for the first time since 2011.
Exactly. And then, I mean, that was, I don't know what maybe the Phillies were just trying to save their energy and their momentum for a playoff berth. Who knows?
Definitely possible.
And give the Cubs some momentum going into next year.
It's definitely a possibility. And then you look at the final game.
No professional player actually wants to actively lose either.
That's true.
So I don't know what the heck was going on there. Hey, I'm proud of myself for not cussing there.
And then you look at the final game, 2-0. And the one nice thing that I see is we didn't use that many relief pitchers, but I've been so bugged by this, and I know we've talked about this on the show.
That's the point that Alton was making. Keep going.
80 pitches. Why take him out? He had 5 hits. Okay, I get it, but 80 pitches. I don't know why we take him out.
Okay, honestly, Alton really thinks Rossi takes him out because he thinks something bad's about to happen.
That could be basically
yes, there was
scared.
A sweep, Rob.
Probably pitching scared. I mean, or managing scared, I should say. But yeah, we definitely swapped them. And before you go tonight, I know you gotta leave here in a few minutes. Let's do a Cub or Dub playoff preview. The Phillies and the Mariners finally, got rid of their playoff drought. I know the Mariners hadn't been in since 2001, Phillies 2011. Will they win a playoff series?
So I was looking it up. 538 was saying the Mariners had a 16% chance, but they had an 8% chance of them making it to the playoffs. So, and they had the A's at a 48% chance of making it to the playoffs. So maybe.
It's definitely possible because in postseason baseball, you don't know what you're going to get. You don't
never know what you're going to get in baseball, honestly. That's why it's not over till the 9th inning.
Correct. The one thing that I look at with the Mariners as the bracket stands right now, of course, this could all change. They have the Blue Jays, and I just think the Blue Jays pitching is better, and I love their hitting with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, and George Springer. It's going to be a tough out. For the Phillies, they have the Cardinals. I mean, either way you look at it, it's 2 tough matchups, but could they win them? Yeah, they could.
They could. Yeah, absolutely. Who knows? All right.
So Jen, before you leave, and thanks for being on, tell everybody where they can find you and follow you.
3 Chicks in a Pod on Tuesday nights at 7:30. Cubfidential during the season at 11 p.m. Eastern time. Wednesday nights, the Pundit with the wonderful Jacob Christner. On Thursday nights, Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel, followed by Scott Morgan-Roth's Inside the Pigskin. On Sundays, lately it's been mainly Jay doing the producing duties. Thanks, Jay. Love you. Football season's upon us. And during the season, NBA Carousel by Megan Price.
Thank you again, Jennifer, for being on. And I definitely look forward to having you on my show again on Under Review as you were last week. But definitely thanks for being a part of Cubfidential, and we'll see you hopefully next year.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Jordan. Talk to you later, my friend.
Same here. Have a good night. So that was Jennifer Matthews Lewis. Let's bring on the pundit himself, as well as our special guest, who is probably excited about what history we had that we saw this tonight. And there they are. Hey, Will, how is it going?
I see you
What a
have
night.
I see you have your Red Sox stuff on.
I'd rather be naked than wear Red Sox stuff.
Ah!
Woof.
Okay.
TMI.
How you doing tonight, bud?
I mean,
how you doing tonight, bud?
It's a great night for baseball.
so let's get into Aaron Judge because, of course, we have Will Vogel on, and actually on Scott's show on, what is it, 108 stitches or 109? Is it 8?
108.
There you go. He told us to relax. Aaron Judge would do it. How are you feeling about it since he finally did that? I mean, I sat, honestly, the last few days watching on Major League Baseball Network waiting for him to do it.
Honestly, I'm relieved. I have to first off give props to many people for this. First off, the Maris family for giving him support all the way through, saying he's the clean home run hitter because Bonds, Sosa, McGuire all use steroids. Shame. That's awesome that they would travel, go to the game, support him, do whatever they can, support his mom. Number 2, the Texas Rangers pitching staff. The Blue Jays walked him. All the teams tried to walk him or hit him, or mainly walk him and pitch around him. They didn't want a part of history. I get it. You want a better playoff seed. Everyone does. But seriously, the Rangers threw their best stuff at him. They didn't give him easy lob pitches straight down the middle, easy. Oh, hit this, hit it off a tee and just smack it. No, they threw their best stuff at him. So props to the Rangers for throwing their best stuff at him. And no, it's been a long time coming. It's been 61 years. And honestly, I've told this. I think personally, don't get me wrong, I agree with Jen 100%. She said Bonds didn't need the steroids. Bonds was a good player before the steroids. Sosa was a good player before the steroids. Mark McGuire was a good player before the steroids. Judge has not had a negative test or positive test, mind you. And yeah.
I can tell Jacob really wants to get into this discussion. Personally, for me, how I look at it is, I've even told Jacob this, is I don't count the actual home run king as Barry Bonds. He's up there as the actual home run king.
He is. He is.
It's record-wise, yes. But the thing is Hank Aaron did it cleanly. We're not going to go and change baseball records and put an asterisk.
No, you can't.
Again, on Bonds.
What's done is what's done.
The one thing that I have to say is, if you look at the Hall of Fame, you have to have the steroid era guys in. Baseball didn't test for steroids until 2003. I don't know if I'm indifferent to this because, yes, Judge did it. He had 62, but Barry Bonds had 60 or 73, I should say. And what was so special about 1998 when McGuire and Sosa did it? Brought baseball back. But should Aaron Judge be the home run king? I honestly
it's up for debate. Each person has their own opinion.
I'd like to hear Jacob on it, what he has to say about this. Because
let me explain this for a second here. Congratulations for being the all-time AL home run hitter. That's the truth. That's the true thing. 62 is amazing. And when I talk about PEDs and all that stuff, and I brought up the 6'7", about 300 pounds, I'm saying it in the basis of I don't care. Because he's still an amazing, he's a 315 hitter. Means and I'm just saying this, Will. He's an amazing hitter. This isn't a 229 hitter. This isn't somebody who's at the fourth thing and he's hitting home runs and just striking out all the time. He's a great hitter.
Yeah.
315. He, by the way, is he first in the? I'm just asking you guys this: is he first in the batting average, or is he cut a little bit?
I think he's still behind.
He's still behind.
By like a little bit.
to me, that's the one I want more than the home runs. I mean, I want that Triple Crown just because to me that is the one. I mean, when I think of the 73 home runs, when I say it for Bonds, I think of 372 more than that. That's
Right.
what
I can see that. Yeah.
I see 372. I'm like, when you are doing that, when you're hitting 315, you're doing that stuff. Means you're hitting all fields.
Exactly. No, I
You're
agree
hitting all
100%.
fields. Yeah, you're hitting all fields. You're hitting single, doubles. You're getting triples. You're getting home runs. You're doing timely hitting. You're doing squibbers. You're doing hard hits. You're doing them all. And
Exactly.
and those are the things. So it's like when I say, like I'm saying this part, when I say about the PEDs and stuff like that, I'm not mocking the idea of PEDs or doing anything like that. I'm saying I do not care.
Batting average is more important than home runs. I agree
absolutely. It is
100%.
absolutely in agreement. It's like I'd probably be in truth, Jordan. In truth, Will, I'd probably be with you if he was a 227 hitter about PEDs. Like because then all it is at that point is just big, powerful homers and a bunch of strikeouts.
Exactly.
So
I agree with
I'd
that.
probably be with you, but because it's just like when I see these numbers, I'm like, and I'm saying this right now. It's like the Sosa was 306.
Yeah, like I agree with Jacob 100%. Like, yes, I'm happy about the 62 home runs. It's great. It's the AL new record. Yes, we've been waiting 61 years. But am I more happy that Judge is hitting over 300? Heck yes, because hitting over 300 is awesome. It is awesome. It is a good achievement. It's a great batting average. It's not below average. It's not in the middle. It's a great batting average. No one's going to hit 500. No one. We all know that.
What was it? 400 was what? Ted Williams way back in the 40s?
I
I mean,
1941. And let me tell you this. My dad was 13 years old. That's telling you how long ago that was. He'd been 94.
We're never going to see a 400 hitter ever again.
I know.
I'm
just saying that was 19. That was 406. That was 19. When my dad was 13 years old. And I'm saying this, part. My dad would have been 94 this year if he was around. So this is telling you, this is the craziest part of it all. It's the fact that it's like 400 isn't going to happen, but we are really, really to that point, with ourselves where the Mendoza line is good. We're getting too many 6 through 8 hitters hitting like 217, and we need to start getting disciplined hitting back. We need to start getting all this stuff higher batting averages. I mean, stolen bases.
And and I wanted to make a point real quick. I know the saying goes, and Jordan's, I'm pretty sure, said this on the show, and you guys have, chicks dig the long ball. Would I rather have a guy who tries to swing for the fences and fails 4 out of 5 times? No, I'd rather have a base hit and have a guy on than a guy keep hacking away.
100%. I mean, we've talked about that. I know Jacob has put that in. We'd rather see them discipline and play. Yes, you would want to see those long balls, but you want timely hitting as well. And we've seen.
And you guys have said that on the show. I think timely hitting is better than the home run ball.
The one thing.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, Jen wanted me to point this out, that the guy that Judge actually hugged first was Anthony Rizzo. I didn't see that. I was just excited that he hit it. So it's very interesting that the first guy he hugs is an ex-Cub.
Yeah. Rizzo's the man. I love Rizzo, and I will always remember him as a Cub. I don't care what anybody says, even if he's a Yankee. I loved him as a Cub more.
All I'm thinking about is the way to make baseball again. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like people keep talking about, the home run is the thing now. And it's like, I had this little deal with somebody on Facebook. I think one of our guys. And I'm just like, the thing is, it's not, home run is the home run. But when you're 6 through 8s or 217 on most of these teams, a 217, 220 average, it's like, that's not fun. People don't want to see swinging. It's like, now, okay, maybe I brought up Tony Gwynn. Maybe that there was Rod Cruz of the day. But it's like, when the minute that ball's connected, there is that 30% chance of whatever you make it down the line if you hustle. And it's right. And okay, if you get it out, at least there was that chance. There's no chance when you swing and miss. And I mean, I really believe the game comes back if people are wondering again, oh, can we get a stolen base? If stolen bases come back, if these type of deal, if the team can come, yeah, and then guess what? You can still have 50 homers.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what Ricky Henderson is the leading guy who has stolen bases in MLB history. It's nice to have a base hit, a single, and then you can move up to second or third. That's just smart baseball. I think we are getting to the point where how do we bring fans back? They've tried to change a lot of the game. We see it with the extra inning rule. Thank goodness I think that's going away a lot next year. But now
It has to.
Then you have the pitch clock, which I'm fine with, but the shift. These are all ideas to bring fans like younger generation, not our generation, like my niece and nephew. My nephew is 9. He's starting to get into watching baseball, but you're trying to get more offense so games can be more exciting. But I like a 2-1 game, a 1-0 game.
Let me tell you this: it's not working. I have 8 nephews and a niece. My 8th nephew, the final one, he's gotten into the Braves. You know what I mean? He's gotten into the Braves, gotten to enjoying it. And you want to know what we were doing the other night? Playing MLB 2K23 on his thing, We were playing his, and of course he likes to create his own teams or whatever with really crappy jerseys. But it's like we have fun with it. You laugh at it. But it's like, guess what? We watched the final pitch of Kenley Jansen, and that was his deal. You're not going to get, unless you find a reason for him to sit. You're telling him to sit there and watch 11 strikeouts a game. When you're doing that, when you're giving them a chance and stuff, when people are on base, there's action going on. This is an era of, for one thing, this is not 1956 where you had the black and white TV,
right?
And you had and it was on 4 hours a night, and then you had the It is none of that. You know what I mean, though, Will? And it's like it's none of that. It is a full-fledged, out of your mind action world, which means everything's got to be moving. People striking out 11 times a game. Teams striking out 11 times a game. That's not action. The action is them walking back to the field, walking back to those dugout. You're getting all of this, and it's like when there's constant. Why do you think basketball and football is always action? Basketball, even if there's 3-pointers, is they're moving. There's got to be constant movement in this area. Why? Look at the movies with the jump cuts and everything like that. There's no still deal. Everything's got to be action. But when baseball continues to act like, oh, by the way, strikeout done. You know what I mean? The strikeout done. And I'm not going against the pitchers, by the way. And I appreciate you saying that, Denzel. But It's like appreciate. But when they are that way. And the pitchers doing their jobs, that's completely understood. But hitters are also undisciplined too. And that's their fault.
Oh, I completely agree. So, Will, thanks for being on. First, before you go, we have our Cub or Dub. You heard that the Phillies and the Mariners are finally in the playoffs. Will they win a playoff series?
So, I'm going to go in depth for a minute on each team, if you don't mind. Phillies have a tough path. Got the Braves, the defending champs. They still got hitting. They got good pitching. Same with the Mets. Same with the Cardinals. So I say no to the Phillies. They're not even the best team in their division. They're the 3rd best team in their division. The Mariners, don't get me wrong. Julio Rodriguez. Bright future. Problem with that team is I think their youth is going to catch up to them. They have to go against the Yankees, the Astros, the Blue Jays, the Rays. If I had to say who I think of the two would make it further, I would lean with the Phillies because they got Harper, Schwarber, better pitching, kind of better pitching, but both are running into tough paths.
Well, that's what you want to see this time of year in October, is to have a tough path. Nothing comes easy.
Nothing comes easy in October, for sure.
You guys get a laugh out of this. It's just a non-baseball thing. Did you guys see the Denver-Indianapolis promo for his Thursday Night Football?
They took what?
Matt Ryan off. Instead of Matt Ryan, they put Jonathan Taylor on there so they could have 28-3.
Oh, I was looking at that, trying to figure that out. I'm like, I don't get it. Now I get it.
Yeah, it's totally, yeah, they put it on there.
Yep.
It's like
But yeah, that's my opinion on the
cute level of
playoffs.
trolling.
So, well, before you head off and watch the rest of our show, since we're mainly going to talk about Cubs, tell everybody where they can find you and follow you. I know you're really a big part of what we do here at the Sideline Sports Network.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. I'm really happy because I love watching this show. This show is awesome. So everyone, guys, this show is awesome. I don't care if you're a Cubs fan, Philly fan, whatever fan you are. I'm a Yankee fan. I still love this show because these guys are awesome. They're knowledgeable. They're smart. They know basketball or baseball like the back of their hand.
We
So
do know
Monday night-
basketball too.
basketball too. Monday nights during the season, you can find me on the NBA carousel covering the Charlotte Hornets and probably the Memphis Grizzlies because I wanted to cover a young and exciting team. Also, the Hornets are my hometown team.
You don't want to cover the Jazz?
Oh, no, I told Jen at the end, I was like, Megan, I was like, nope, I don't want to cover that. What a relief off my shoulders. They got rid of everyone.
That's true. If Will was definitely doing a lot of teams last year, Memphis, he covered obviously the Hornets and also the Jazz.
Tuesday nights, 108 Stitches Baseball with Scott Morganroth every so often with Jordan and Charlotte Bats. Wednesday night, tomorrow, I will be on Fire Up. I don't know what we're going to be talking about yet. That's with Scott Morganroth. We'll see. Thursday nights, I will be on the Sip Off. It'll be coming back soon. I don't remember which date exactly. Friday is the new night for the Gauntlet. I should be making an appearance again soon. I didn't know they were moving it to Fridays, so I'll be on there again soon. Saturdays are open always. Now they're going to be. But I reserve that for college football night for me. Sunday, you guys can find me on Basket Bros with Jacob, Scott, Dom, and Jay.
I definitely like the partnership we have with Scott, and I will have you on my show. Well, I was going to have you on for Judge, but then we did it here. But of course, I'll have you on for, I want to
Dude,
talk
I'm
Charlotte
available
Hornets.
this Saturday. Just hit me up. I'll probably be lazy all day, so I've got nothing else to do.
All right, sounds good. But definitely, I'll have you on my show. But thanks again for coming on, and I'll definitely be in contact with you to get you on, and I will send out a tweet if he is on.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys. Have a good night. I'll be watching.
Thank you. All right, so getting back to Cubs baseball, we know that we're playing the Reds to finish up the season, but I want to go back to last weekend. We played the Reds.
Yeah.
We won 6-1, 2-1, and of course 8-1 in the final at Wrigley. With this winning streak going into the offseason, what do you think that means for the Cubs in terms of where we're at?
Nothing for next year. It's going to the end of the year. Not a thing. It's like you see hot streaks. I mean, it's baseball. Like, I still remember the Bruce Kim era when they first basically came from he basically got a 12-game winning streak. And it was like 14 or 15 from the All-Star break to the 12th game. Stuff like that. It looked so awesome. And they were so miserable before that, and then forget it, and then forget it after that. This is what baseball is sometimes. But really, the one good thing about it is it makes the team respectable for free agents. It makes it respectable to be able to get, to be able to see if you can get if they want to be able to spend. It's like, let me tell you this right now. You go to Miami for the taxes. You go for like Dolphins. You don't really go for the Marlins. You don't go for the Marlins. They don't have a structure. The Marlins are the Chicago Bears of baseball. They don't have a structure to fit anything like this, like the big time stuff. And I mean, I've been a Bears fan 38 years. I hate to say it, but it's just true. Those are the things.
The one thing that struck me is, I mean, we saw it at the trade deadline when, Ian Happ and Wilson Contreras didn't go. It really feels like this is the end for Wilson Contreras. But then again, they can do arbitration. They can give him a contract to avoid him going to free agency, but he probably will not take the deal that they want because it'll be 1 year. Do you think he ends up in Chicago, or do you think he wants to go elsewhere to try to win a World Series?
I can see him going to the White Sox.
That actually makes a lot of sense, to be honest.
I can see him go there. It's like the biggest thing about it is, for one thing, the Cubs are going to be going after Carlos Correa. I mean, Aaron Judge, and they're going to talk about Shohei Ohtani. Obviously, those names have been up there too, believe it or not. See, I remember the years when 38-year-old Cal Daniels was the big thing for the Cubs, and now you're talking the biggest in the game. So, tell me how proud I am that the Cubs are making it there. You are making it in the level of getting into the boomers. You know what I'm saying? It's like I wish the Atlanta Hawks would get there. As far as I laugh. We all laugh at it, but it's like when they get themselves better, and yet when there's a KD or a LeBron, it's a laugh. And yet it's a big city. It is a hip hop city, and you don't think about, and they mostly live here, and you don't want to be here. And that's the same with all this type of stuff. It's like they do for the Braves now, but it's like the Cubs. They weren't this way. Now they're this way. They're getting names. The White Sox, yeah, they can get Wilson Contreras, because the Cubs are going to need him out of the way for them to be able to get the bigger names.
So then, if you look at free agency, besides Carlos Correa, who do you think we should go after?
Truth, like I said, if the name's there, I'm going to go for Aaron Judge over Shohei Ohtani. There's going to be every time. I mean, it's a near, if not the Triple Crown, a near Triple Crown guy. You know, it's like, and the guy before, and the time before that's average is about 275, 280. That's my thing right there. I want hitters. I wouldn't mind Correa. It's like, of course, and you know something? This is what I would want. I would want them to, if you are to do something like this, get yourself a name. If you're going to do something with him, Kyle Hendricks, trade him. He's still until 2024. Trade him and get something. But the thing is, the biggest thing, knowing that luck, the guy's going to win 20 finally.
So I will say our special guest, even though that our producer hasn't shown his comment, just said Judge isn't leaving. I don't know. Money will talk. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay, you mean JB? Oh, of course he's got good. Yeah, of course. Okay, there. No, but I'm like, that's what I'm going to hit. I'm going to go for that. I'm going to go for those, especially when the Cubs. It feels awesome knowing when I was that kid and you're watching the Cubs win like 71, and then you're going through the thing, and then they say, like I say, they say Cal Daniels. It's like you have the same players every year. That's good. But it's like the biggest name I ever saw until 2004, Nomar Garciaparra.
Oh, yeah.
Until Nomar Garciaparra, the biggest name I ever saw was Andre Dawson.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that.
I mean, guess what? Derek Loop's a decent name. The Garciaparra was enormous. And then you had Maddox. But then those names are why I will never hate Dusty Baker. No matter what the thing is they want to bring up, he wore out, but he's just an old school guy, and these players can't take the pain. I'm just being very honest. But considering ever since Dusty, there has been free agent after free agent, trade after trade in this era with big, powerful names. There is no surprise if an Aaron Judge shows up. No surprise if Shohei Ohtani shows up. None in that era when all I knew for the first 20 years was crappy names. Other than Dawson, crappy names.
The only thing that I'm not saying that we shouldn't go after free agents.
Okay, Sutcliffe. Okay, Sutcliffe, excuse me. Sutcliffe was one, but yes.
The one thing that I'm scared of, and this is just me, is will the Ricketts family want to open that pocketbook? Will they allow Jed Hoyer to do his job? That's the only question I have.
Well, the biggest thing about it is you might as well sell if you don't, because here's the biggest thing business-wise, okay? Bulls are going to get better. Bulls are going to get better very fast. Look at how they're going to move on. The Bears are getting a dome, which means they're going to get new. They're no question going to get new. No question to get new ownership. I mean, come on, 100-year-old mom with 80-year-old kids. They're going to get new. They're going to get new ownership. the White Sox are going to get God. Everybody talks about the White Sox. They've had 2 years in a row when they've been in the conversation. They're not far off. So and they're just going to replace Tony La Russa with some other good one. I think it's Adam LaRoche. So they're going to get better. The Cubs don't have a big window left with not only baseball but the city in general. The fans want the Bears to get good. They want them to get rid of 85. They want they remember the 6 Bulls years, the 6 Bulls finals and the championships. They want to see that again. There's people that don't remember Michael. There's kids that don't remember Michael. They want to see this stuff again. There's not a big window for the Cubs because they've got competition. They've got real competition in the city now, especially in the next 5 years.
I completely agree. So just really quick for our this Cubs for you, I have Sia Suzuki just to end the year. He had 18 plate appearances this past week, a batting average of .333. Mm. Not great, but he had 1 triple, 6 runs scored, 1 RBI, 3 walks. I was going to do Stroman, but his numbers weren't that great. Mm-hmm. But let's go in time a little bit and talk about Lee Smith. I mean, Lee Smith didn't really pitch that much for the Cubs, only 8 years from 1980 to 1987.
Boy, 79, 87. Boy, I remember him. I remember for the 3 years I was there. You look at Lee Smith, and it was like, I was a little kid. I was 9 years old. I looked at everybody was around me, from the dad to everybody else was the big guy. So every man around whether it was the people that was sat at the bar to everything else were just big husk dudes, So Lee Smith is a favorite. It's like who's going to charge the mound on that guy? he was 6'6", 6'7", about 250. He just looked the part. And no, but the biggest thing about him was the fact that it's like he was one of those ones that deserved to be here now in this era. He deserved to be the one to enter Sandman. Come out to the music. He would deserve that. It's like Goose Gossage. Could you imagine his? That should be one of our things. It's like ask a thing one night. What would Goose Gossage's be? And I'm like, what would his come to the mound music be, and all that kind of stuff. You could these are little things that you could ask. You know what I'm saying? It's like they didn't come during the time of music or showmanship. It was that type of thing. But darn good well they would have had music.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what draws people in for the pitchers. I mean, we see it for the hitters. I mean, you had it right on the head. I mean, he was a pretty good pitcher. 478 career saves. I didn't get a chance to really see him as a Cub just because he played before I was born. But you still look at it, he was a pretty good pitcher for the Cubs organization. Helped us a little bit. I know we didn't do a whole lot once we got to the playoffs with him. But either way, still one of the top Cubs relievers in history.
Something? We talk about all this now. We talk about this now, and it's like you talk about 478. That's nearing 500. It's fun to be able to watch, and it's when someone's intimidating and they just look the part. Mm. Lee was that, and he was there. But like I said, when I look back at the guy and he just had that presence on the mound and everything, only thing I can think of now, I wish I was watching him as I grew. Because, see, I could absorb a lot as a kid. But you're never going to absorb as lot as a kid as you can as an adult when you're fully grown. Mm-hmm. And I wish you could be able to see that because in this era, with the way people strike out, he could have been this era's Mariano Rivera.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, he would be because and he, with a humongous presence. But no, the biggest thing about it is I wanted to bring up the music for that. You talk about what brings the pitcher to the mounds and everything. It's been this way since wrestling. And you got to be truthful about Hulk Hogan for a second. A real American made him, and it's like his body, of course, too. His huge body. But here is the thing, though. The biggest thing about it is if you mute the music and everything and you don't see the crowd, He's a bald dude. He's a bald biker. He's a bald biker. It's like you don't think of it much. Music makes the world. Much as I growing up, I didn't think about it like that. Growing up, music was that noise you heard at halftime of ball games. You know what I mean? But I
agree.
I didn't know. I don't have the music knowledge. You're not going to take me to a music trivia on Tuesdays. It's not going to be. But music makes the world go. And it's like, and it's everybody's got to have a press. Everybody's got to look at me. Look at all the. I mean, I'm telling you. You want to know who the very last team did not have music in their starting lineups were?
I want to say the Yankees, but I'm not sure.
No. I'm talking about in the NBA. You know who the
the NBA.
Were? You know who last ones were?
I have no idea. I couldn't even come up.
Boston Celtics, when they were closing Boston Garden, they were the last to not have music.
That actually does make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, they just didn't even put it in. They did it the minute they get to Fleet Center, but they didn't have that, and it's like it just fit though. It just fit the whole thing. The old garden with no air conditioning, no music, in a world of flash. And this is a world of flash now, and we need this. And when I think of Lee Smith, this is an era where I loved watching him for the 3 years that I did. It was kind of like Walter Payton. I watched him for 3 years. And I wish I got him as an adult where he could really dominate.
I hear you. I mean, granted, I'm a Broncos fan, but I know what Walter Payton, a.k.a. Sweetness, meant to the game of football. But let's go to Cub or Dub. You know, the Mariners and the Phillies finally have ended their playoff droughts. 2001 for the Mariners, 2011 for the Phillies. Will they win a playoff series?
No, there's just too much powerhouse in this. It's like the Cardinals. The Cardinals are always there. You know, Cardinals are always there, and they're just more. See and it's like this goes back to the Philadelphia fans. Goes back to the Philadelphia fans. It just does, and it's like they're already saying, "Oh, we got rid of Girardi, so we're here." And then next year they'll struggle, and then they'll put blame, and they'll forget all this. And it's like, and then that's every fan. But it drives you nuts that you have to use this kind of stupidity. But no, they're not into the structure to do anything yet. Not yet. But I mean, if you get the structure to build it, then you're serious. But right now, the Cardinals are just. I mean, Pujols is still. I mean, this is not just a goodbye for the three. They're all playing well, and it's like to me, I see Cardinals and Braves. If it's not the Diaz, I think Cardinals, Braves, NLCS.
It really could be. I mean, I look at right now how it's structured. I know this could all change by tomorrow, but the Mariners are going against Toronto, and I like Toronto's lineup and pitching better. And like you said, right now the Phillies are playing the Cardinals. I don't give them a shot to win. Of course, next week, I'm teasing this a little bit, we will have our Major League Baseball playoff preview since we'll have the division series. But Jacob, tell everybody where they can find you and follow you.
All right. Let's see. We have Monday nights during the season, NBA carousel with Megan Price. Tuesday nights here. Next week's the final week of 11 o'clock.
Yes, they are.
Crazy. That we're going to have a prime time next year, but hopefully the better spot.
Yep.
Tuesday. Wednesday nights, doubleheader, the Pundit's Pundit, the Sports Exchange with Scott Morganroth. We have this Thursday nights. I am away. Thursday nights is a time off from Sideline Sports. I am with the TJ Sanson with a show called Yin and Yang. We talk politics. We talk film. We talk all kinds of different things. We'll talk psychology. We talk all kinds of stuff. It's a really good show, and it's like I'll start promoting on our stuff also. You know, around you guys, let you see it. We're having a 2-hour special tomorrow on Thursday night, so we have that, and then Sunday nights Basket Bros, and then every once in a blue moon when they feel like having me on, I'm on the Gauntlet also.
Well, thank you, Jacob, for being on this year. Of course, we'll hopefully see you next week for our playoff preview.
You betcha. Take care.
Thank you. And have a good night. That does it for here on Cubfidential for this year. Of course, we're going to have our playoff preview next week, so stay tuned for that. Of course, after that, we will let you know when we'll be back on the air, I should say, for 2023, and hopefully it's a better Cubs show What I mean by that is hopefully that the Cubs are actually winning and being in a playoff position. That way we don't have to sit here and talk about Russ all the time or runners in left in scoring position. But of course, please subscribe to our YouTube channel on the Sideline Sports Network. We have shows every single day. You heard some of them there. As for me, you can follow me on Twitter at SportsScoop1. I have a blog that I write Mondays through Thursdays with podcasts on Fridays at sports-scoop.com. And I also have my own show called Under Review, which I post on Fridays on my blog, Saturdays on the network. I will be having a special guest on Monday for the NHL preview. So just a little tease for that. But for all of us here at the Sideline Sports Network and Cubfidential, have a great night.